Hi, I'm Patrick Krupka, founder of MyDisasterPlan.com. Today on this episode of our video blog, we're talking a little bit about throw bags. Now, throw bags are a really great safety item. They're inexpensive, they're easy to use. We're going to show you how to use them, but I'm going to go over some of the basics of throw bags real quick. I've got three examples here. This is obviously the largest of the three. This holds about 70 feet of rope. It's got a waterproof bag on it, not because we don't want the rope to get wet, but that protects the rope when it's in storage. I've got another one here that's a little bit smaller. It's a narrower diameter rope. I think it's about 40 feet of rope. You can see it's got mesh on the bag so the rope can dry pretty easily. This one's got a smaller amount of mesh. It's an even smaller bag. So they come in lots of shapes and sizes. The larger bag even has a flotation disc in the bottom of it. One thing you'll find common to all of these is what I like to call a throw strap or a bucket handle. Almost all of the bags will have one of these, and you'll see when we use this when we're throwing it. But the main idea of this is it's an easy way to deploy a rope into the water and help someone that's in trouble without having you get into the water and be at risk yourself. Now, as a rescuer, whether you intended to be one or not, you really don't want to go in the water unless you absolutely have to. So using a stick to reach out to somebody or a kayak paddle or something along those lines is great. If the person's a little farther out than that, a throw bag is definitely your best bet. It keeps you safe and it's a way to help them out when they need it. So the next thing we're going to do is show you how to use them. Okay, so now it's time to deploy the throw bag. I'm going to walk you through the steps of doing that. First, you're going to hold the bucket handle or the throw strap in your dominant hand. I'm right-handed, so there it is. You're going to loosen the strap that cinches the top of the bag and keeps the rope in. Obviously, when you're throwing it, you don't want to keep the rope in. That allows the rope to play out very easily. Now, this leading edge of the rope here, and I've got a knot tied in it, whether you have one or not, doesn't really matter, I guess. I'm going to have you stand on this end of the rope. Now, normally we don't recommend standing on ropes. If it's a rope that you climb or rappel with, when you stand on it, it forces dirt deeper into the rope, and that dirt causes abrasion in there when the rope's under tension, and it can tear some of those strands in the rope. But this is a different use for rope, so you're welcome to stand on this. Now, standing on that gives you your last anchor point. If this whole thing gets yanked out of your hands, you've got one last chance to grab it before it's gone, okay? Now your non-dominant hand is going to hold on to it here. That's a second anchor point, okay? So you've got both of those. And then you're going to throw the bag with this one. Now, it's an underhand throw. A lot of people like to swing it once or twice before they throw it. It all just depends on the situation and your preference. And then you take a step into it and let the bag go. Now the way you aim this appropriately, when you throw the bag, you're going to have your hand end up aiming directly where you want the bag to go. For example, if I was going to throw the bag at the camera, I would end up with my arm pointing at the camera. Obviously, I'd let the bag go, but that's how you end up aiming it where you want it to go. So a throw out into the water would look something like this. Swing it a couple of times if you want to, step into it, and the bag goes out into the water. As long as you've got a hold of it here, and you've got your foot on it here, you're going to let go of it with this hand as it goes into the water, and then you're going to pick it up to pull the rope in once your victim grabs it. Now, when you pull the rope, you do not ever want to wrap the rope around your arm. For a lot of people, that's their first instinct. Really good way to either get pulled in the water, especially if this is a moving water situation, or to break your arm and break your fingers and tear tendons and all kinds of good stuff. You don't want to do that. So if you feel like you don't have enough grip on the rope, grabbing it this way, kind of an underhand grab, then what you want to do is grab it overhand, bend it 90 degrees, and pull that way. So you grab, bend, pull. And you'll see me do that when I throw the rope to Dave. He's out there in the kayak. You'll see him in a minute. And when I go to pull in, you'll see that I grab, bend, pull. That's the way you want to do it. You do not want to wrap your arm around that rope. All right, so when it's time to deploy the throw bag, just like I said before, you're going to lay a piece of rope on the ground, step on it. Other piece lays gently in your non-dominant hand. Dominant hand throws the bag. So we swing once or twice, and out it goes. Now, when it comes time to pull the rope in, like I said before, grab, bend, pull. Don't wrap it around your hand. So when I go to pull Dave in, I just do an overhand grab, bend 90 degrees, and pull, and that gives me good grip. I don't lose traction on the rope, don't get any rope burn, and he comes right on in. So that's how you deploy a throw bag. Now, once you've thrown your rope, what you get back out of the water is this big, ugly mess of wet rope. So let me show you how to put this back in the bag. Normally, at the end of the day, you would take this home, lay it out on the concrete or something, let it dry, or hang it up from a clothes rack. But right now, we're just going to repack it and throw it again. So the easiest way I have found, you've got, I don't know if you can see this, but basically just a big empty bag. Lay the rope over your shoulder, and then just stuff it right in the bag, one handful at a time. Now this is when a smaller throw bag is kind of nice because you don't have 70 feet of rope to do, but in this case we have a larger throw bag and we have 70 feet. Notice I'm not coiling it all ahead of time and putting it in there in one big ball. The only way this plays out of the bag nicely is if it all goes in randomly. The last bit of rope in is the first bit of rope out. So if you coil it all nicely and then shove it in the bag, all you're going to do when you throw it is either turn the bag into a football or you're going to get one big knot of rope that falls out of it and it doesn't go anywhere. So you really do want to make sure that you kind of do a random restuff when you do this, and then all the rope ends up in the bag. And there's the last little bit. So then all you have to do is cinch up the top and you're ready to go. So now you understand a lot more about throw bags and how to use them in an emergency. You've seen what they're made of, you've seen how to throw them, and you've seen how to repack them. We've also mentioned that you need to dry your rope out. You obviously don't want to let it mildew in the bag. So get out there, practice with your equipment, become familiar with it, know your limitations and know your strengths so that when it's time to use this, you know what you can do and what you can't. Go to mydisasterplan.com, get your free emergency wallet card, look around the site, grab some tip sheets, learn how to put together a good disaster kit or a go bag, whatever you need. And when you're ready, set up an account, load your important documents and information in there, and be prepared and take care of your family. All right? So that was it on throw bags, and we'll see you next time. Well, let me get this stuff packed up and
okay.
We'll head out. Maybe we'll go get some lunch or something.
Okay, take your time. We're in no rush.
Okay.
I'm just having fun.
Hey, wait. You guys are still here? Okay. Since you're still here, do me a favor. Just go below this video on YouTube, leave us a little comment, tell us what you thought. And then go do something constructive or something.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Weird, man.